In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spaulding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spaulding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000, Spartan teams have won 35 Sunshine State Conference titles. As a member of the University of Tampa Spartan family, you are a guiding force behind UT's remarkable success. We are alums, students, parents, and friends, and together we are changing lives. We are individuals, yet the greater whole is only complete when we work together. You have helped make UT a vibrant community with growing resources and a superior reputation. Just like in the beginning when professors worked without pay, the spirit of giving at UT remains strong. Last year, nearly $14 million was donated to the university by thousands of generous supporters. When we strengthen education, we strengthen our job force and our nation as a whole. Donations support academics, campus life, and a student's ability to afford an education. Your participation is what matters most and shows that our Spartan family believes in the future of UT. Whatever level of support, your gift is important to us and enables UT to provide the challenging, high-quality education that has defined our university. Thank you for helping UT achieve such great success.
vibrant city. Students are within walking distance of jobs and internships, and the recreational opportunities are endless, both off-campus and on campus. Students live in upscale residence halls and enjoy diverse activities, including performing arts, guest lectures, nearly 200 clubs and organizations, and a nationally ranked NCAA Division II athletics program. Ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Testing. Testing. And there we go. Good afternoon. Welcome to the University of Tampa for some Tampa Spartans baseball. The Tampa Spartans take on the Seton Hill Griffins. I'm Taylor Storthy, joined by Shane Patania. Shane, excited for today's game?
Yeah, I'm making my broadcasting debut. But we got an afternoon game here at the University of Tampa baseball field. And how else would you want to spend your spring break?
Well, definitely being at Tampa is a great way to spend it. Always beautiful in Florida this time of year. It's a reason it's a big popular destination for vacations all across the nation. But a team that's also not on a vacation, not down here for pleasure, but taking a week off, and their fans probably taking a little bit of a vacation. Seton Hill, they're in the midst of a massive Florida tour that continues with today's game against the Spartans. Tampa enters the game 13-3 as the number 2 ranked team in D2. Seton Hill, not nationally ranked in D2, but are 4th currently in the Atlantic region. As of last week, that number might be going up slightly as they enter this game with a record of 5-3. A 5-game winning streak just got snapped in a thrilling 2-1 defeat against Minnesota State Mankato. Now, for the starting lineups, first for University of Tampa, Torrin Burns makes his debut for the Spartans. The two-way player in high school will get his first chance on the mound all year, starting in the game. And, potentially, Shane, that's because Tampa's bullpen a little bit burnt out from their most recent series.
Well, yesterday and throughout the whole weekend against Mississippi College, Tampa never got a break. 3 consecutive one-run games. They took 2 out of 3, winning on Friday and Sunday. Yesterday's game was a 12-11 thriller where I was doing the game recap and I was watching the whole game. I think there was a runner on scoring position in every single frame. There was just never a lull at all, and the scoreboard showed it. But the Tampa starter yesterday, Skylar Gonzalez, did not make it out of the first inning, only threw 2/3 of an inning. So the Tampa bullpen is a bit taxed, and I think that's why we're seeing Torrin Burns making his first appearance at all with the Spartans today.
I was able to briefly talk with Coach Urso, and he's excited to see Burns get started on the mound. In his senior year of high school, he kept a sub-4 ERA, pretty good for that, and he also played quite often in the field, hitting .220, so in case Tampa wants to try him out at the plate, he has the ability to get some good swings in. We'll give you the quick batting order for Seton Hill. Leading off will be number 1, center fielder Jack Whalen, leads the team in second in average with .423 on the year. Batting second will be the catcher Vincenzo Rauzo with a .435 average, 1 home run, 5 RBI. He'll then be followed by Jack Oberdorf, batting third, the third baseman. Later, we'd see Logan Vietmeyer, Max Mandler, Braden Durham, Owen Sable, Elijah Snyder, and Aiden Shepard rounding out the 9 for the Griffins. Burns ready with the pitch, ready to start off the game between Seton Hill and Tampa. Outside corner, very close. I think Garavito was trying to frame that as a strike, but the umpire will call it ball 1. This one also outside, almost got a bite from Whalen.
You have to wonder if maybe there's some jitters in his first college appearance.
There definitely will. I was able to see him before the game, and he looked pretty ready. He looked pretty happy. That happiness might be draining ever so slightly with this extra base hit to start the game. Whalen's going to round into second. A leadoff double for Seton Hill. I'll say I think that's somewhat unlucky for Burns. The first pitch that just missed the corner, I personally felt should have been strike 1. And going down 2-0 forces you to go aggressive, and Whalen read it well.
Well, you don't want to lead off walk. You don't want to fall in the 3-0 hole in the first batter, and the batter, Whalen, he took advantage of that and got a pitch right in his wheelhouse to drive it down the left field line.
And good to mention a leadoff walk, as my friend Jack Ike would say, you've got a 66% chance of scoring when you concede a leadoff walk, even though that is not an actual statistic. That is just a very fun kind of idea of a statistic. This one fouled away by Rauzo. He leads the team with .435 for his average. He also is one of the leaders in RBIs with 5 on the season. The numbers for hitting might look a little weaker for Seton Hill because they've only played in 8 games, but 5 RBIs to start out, that's a good opening for the 2023 campaign. Here's the 0-1. Fouled. This one I think is out of play, even though Dosko was looking. He's not going to be able to get to that. And I will say what's interesting, if you look over in Seton Hill's bullpen, we actually get to see Brandon Bergert warming up. You don't normally see the starter warming up in the top of the first inning for a game, but that'll be interesting. Gets a few extra pitches in before he's going to eventually take the mound in the bottom of the first. This one inside, ball one, almost got him with the high fastball.
Yeah, this time Burns has gotten ahead in the count. Wastes a pitch there. He's got 3 to spare.
Time being called quickly. But a beautiful Monday afternoon here at the University of Tampa. Whalen taking a little lead. This one lands for strike 3. Gets him looking.
You know, it's a heavy diet of fastballs. And then Burns comes back with his first off-speed of the day. Catches Rausko Lukin.
Perfectly placed slider. It's a risky spot to put it because if the batter's looking for it, it can easily be turned for extra bases. But instead it freezes him up and puts a one away for Oberdorf, who'll take his first crack in the ballgame. He's also got a home run this year, a .281 average. And, oof, I think he's also unlucky there. Have to see if Tampa batters will also get a little smaller zone to start the game, because I think I've noticed that a lot of the corners, they've been giving the benefit of the doubt to the players in the box. Now that one, I think, is a very easy fastball nearly down the middle, 1-1. This one's going to be a rip to left field. That one's got some distance behind it. It will land and score a run. Not fielded perfectly by Saladino, but that was a double no matter how you look at it.
Well, the Griffins have come out swinging so far. 2 doubles, 1 run, and traded places now with the cleanup hitter coming up.
Not exactly the start you want to see if you're the Spartans, but just a well-hit ball, and it just landed at the wall, only a few feet short of a home run. And even if Saladino fields that early, I'm sure Oberdorf gets to second safely. 1-0 lead for the Griffins. And it's always tough when you're making a first outing like this. Let's see if Burns can battle back here. Last time he conceded a hit, he was able to get a quick strikeout. But Wiedmeyer and Mandler are not easy hitters to sit down. Combined, they have 12 RBIs on the season, leading the team in the category, part of a 3-way tie in that statistic. The first pitch fouled off by Wiedmeyer. And an extra note about Wiedmeyer, barely under 400, a .393 average with 6 RBIs to open the season. And while early season averages will definitely be prone to fluctuations, it's good to have a hot start.
Oh, for sure. Especially when Seton Hill's been starting down south for the majority of their games. You want to get hot while the weather's hot.
Seton Hill also isn't a stranger to turf fields like the new one we have here at the University of Tampa. If you're a Seton Hill fan tuning in, also you might be tuning into the Seton Hill broadcast that's also going on. But Tampa, of course, has a new turf field for this season. They had been using grass for a while, and so does Seton Hill. That allows them to actually practice more often outside. When Quincy was traveling down here before, they were mentioning how they only had a few days out there to practice to start the year. This one's going to be grounded to Urso. That'll be the second out of the inning, getting the runner to third.
Well, with 2 outs now, let's see if Burns can avoid any further damage, avoid letting Seton Hill get a crooked number on the board. Holding up to 1 in his first inning against the top of the order that has had a lot of success. I would take that as a win for him.
Gets out of the frying pan of the 4-hole, but the number 5 hitter, coincidentally wearing number 5, is also a tricky player to get out, Max Mandler. And I know a lot about Max Mandler, probably more than any other Tampa Spartan here, because this summer I was up in Elmira, where Max Mandler was an Elmira pioneer in the PGCBL. He had a very good season in the Wood Bat League, hitting over 300, being second in the team in batting average. He knows how to convert in clutch situations, but unfortunately for Mandler, that is a flyout to Saladino to end the inning. So Mandler can't convert, and the damage is limited to 1. Great comeback from Burns after 2 quick doubles put the Griffins up. It's a 1-0 lead for Seton Hill exiting the top of the first. Tampa has a chance to respond. We'll be back with more right after this.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Bottom of the first, Seton Hill converted. They were able to score the run off 2 quick doubles down the left field line. And Tampa will now have a chance to respond. Here's a quick batting order for the Spartans. Jordan Lala, the leadoff hitter, will open up. He'll be followed by Drew Earhart, then J.D. Urso, E.J. Doskow, Santiago Garavito, Anthony Nunez, E.J. Cumbo, Nico Saladino, and Adam Hunt in the 9th spot. Strong bats overall for the Spartans. They've definitely been more offensively inclined than defensively inclined this year, although they do have a very strong rotation and bullpen.
Now,
this one.
For Seton Hill, we've seen them making a strong impression with the bats already, but one thing I do want to note is that through March 3rd, Seton Hill was 3rd in all of Division II with a 2.09 team ERA, and the starter, Brandon Bergert, he's coming into today with a 2.08 ERA on the season through 2 starts.
Indeed, and Seton Hill, a very strong defensive team, holding batters to under 200 for their batting average. Will that average go lower? No, it won't, because no one can field it. Hard to see in the sun, and 3 players miss it for a lead-off single. I think it would be classified as a single because it's probably going to also be listed as an error. If not, then it is a free double for Jordan Lala.
Yeah, it's tough play in no man's land. Now, that's probably the shortstop's ball if the left fielder can't get it, but he kind of just overran it, and all of a sudden it was behind him. I don't think wind was a factor on the play, but
looking outside, the U.S. flag over in the right field corner just out of frame is blowing, but not very rapidly. We've had earlier games this year where we've seen the wind actually play a factor in aiding home runs, but today it feels pretty neutral. I don't think fly balls will get the extra carry. 1-0 here to Drew Earhart, hitting .273 on the season with 8 RBIs. Earhart's going to drop a bunt and get the runner to third. Mailer covers at first. Out number 1.
Really no surprise that Earhart would lay down a bunt there. Bunting is a huge part of his game. And before the season, Joe Urso did tell me that he wants to play a lot more small ball than he has in years past. And that theme has been fitting through the entire season. And right there, now the time runs 90 feet away already in the first inning.
And I'll say it's great that you can get on base with Lala, use small ball to get him in scoring position, because Urso, Doskow, and Garavito, an absolutely deadly trio, followed by Nunez, who's also an incredibly good hitter. So you can have the best of small ball and long ball mixed in. Strike 1 taken down the middle. You had mentioned earlier that Bergert had a great ERA entering the game. His last outing, he had 10 strikeouts in 5 2/3. So he also has quite good stuff. He's already displaying it, going up 0-2.
Yeah, showed it there with an off-speed pitch that froze Urso.
Urso leads the team with 20 RBIs. Let's see if he can find 21 here to tie the game. Fouled away. It's always tough to deal with a runner on third in this situation because a fly ball will generally be an out. And Urso's the type of player who can definitely give you a fly ball in a spot like this. Fouls it away. And also, Shane, I've noticed something with their infield shift. Sable, who's out at short, is playing very shallow. They must be hoping that he hits a very weak grounder so they can keep Lala at third.
I mean, they must know something we don't, because the shortstop's the only one playing in. Third base is back, first base is even, and second base is all the way back.
Looks like it worked perfectly. The throw home, and Lala safe, just avoids the tag. So Seton Hill guessed right. It was a grounder right to Sable. But unfortunately for the Griffins, the throw was not in time. Lala too speedy. The game is tied.
Yeah, the shortstop, Sable, he didn't get all of his momentum moving towards home plate as he was fielding the ball, and I think that contributed just enough split seconds. He wasn't able to transfer and get the ball home quickly enough because it wasn't a bad throw. Lala was just too fast and beat it in, and now we got a tie game all at one.
I think Lala being too fast is a very common trend for the Spartans as Dosko rips this one. Adios! It is another home run for E.J. Dosko. And the Spartans take a 3-1 lead. That is number 5 on the season. He was already leading the team, and the gap has widened.
Dosko, the transfer from Valdosta State, has been a fantastic replacement for Paul Sullivan, last year's super slugger, but was unfortunately academically ineligible. And based on his production this year, it's like he never left.
But yeah, indeed, filling in a power hole is very useful, and what a home run there from Dosko. It comes at a good time to give the Spartans a lead. I'll say it didn't have a really big sound off the bat. It just had a lot of power off of it.
Yeah, it didn't sound great, but it looked great off the bat, and left fielder had to turn his head immediately. That one, I think, was very surely kiss it goodbye.
Semi-moonshot, if you could say. And, the foul ball nearly interrupts a few fans just arriving. Kind of a shame if you're a little bit late to the game. You just missed the big home run from E.J. Dosko. This one's going to be grounded to third and foul. 0-2 count. Indeed, Dosko's slower start to the year in his first series, where he wasn't finding a lot of hits, but since then, he's just been unstoppable. Yeah, I'm sure in the last couple series he's been hitting at least 500 and potentially more, and he's also found the power to drive the ball all the way, just like he did in that previous at-bat. And I'll say that's really good news for Burns as well. He gives him an extra run buffer so he can shake off the first run and get back to working. This one's going to drop. It'll be extra bases for Garavito. Durham gets to it, but it won't be in time.
Yeah, see, there's so many options that the Spartans could use as a viable cleanup hitter. Dosko's in there for a reason. But Garavito's right up there with him and shows it there with another extra base hit this inning for the Spartans.
Another great choice would be Nunez. The Spartans' third baseman did find himself in a little bit of controversy the last time he was at home. In the game against Davenport, he was doing a little bit of an interesting tactic by trying to shield the runner on a sac fly attempt, and the play actually went viral on John Boy Media. And Nunez was definitely getting bullied, I think, a little bit in the replies. But I think Nunez took it in stride, and he's coming off a solid series on the road. I think he also got a home run opposite field in one of the games against Mississippi College.
Yes, that was yesterday. Bit more better publicity than his defensive antics, but yesterday's home run was huge because Tampa was down 6-1 in the early innings. That was a 3-run blast to put it at 6-4, and that really cut the distance for Tampa to continually come back because yesterday's game, there was UFC fights over the weekend. I would say it was a heavyweight bout yesterday. Mississippi College is a lot better than their record shows.
That's definitely a recurring trend throughout the year. I mean, we mentioned Quincy earlier. They beat us in the series, so even though they actually recently dropped out of the top 25 for D2, I think that's kind of disrespectful because they're one of the best in the nation, I'd say. The way they played against us, they had our number throughout those 2 games that they beat us. They did really, really well. And if they can make a good tournament run, it would be a really fun rematch later this year. And I'd say similar for Seton Hill. They've had a good start, and that would also be a fun rematch later on. They'll be hoping to pull off an upset, but so far, hasn't gone their way exactly. But to quote Iron Man 2, if you can make God bleed, people will refuse his existence. I definitely fumbled that quote, but they did score in the first inning. They know how to get a run across, and sometimes all you need is one to get the engine moving.
Well, from watching Tampa's games this year, it's not going to be over until the 27th out.
It never is. 1-2 now to Nunez. Grounded to short. It'll advance the runner. And also bring him home to score as this one actually bounced off Nunez on the errant throw.
We'll have to see who the error's credited to. Have to be a throwing error there, but...
Yeah, it's a mix because it didn't look like a bad throw. Was it either bad at first or bad at short?
My analysis is that it was a pretty good one hop and a long hop, but I think the first baseman just stretched too early. He committed too early, locked his knees out, and he's out of position to make the play when the balance doesn't go exactly where he thought it was. And maybe not an out on the play, but it would have prevented a run from scoring there.
Indeed. If he was just able to knock it down and keep it in front, there would be no room to get home and just keep it as an errant first base and runners to the corners with one away instead of a 4th run scoring.
Yes.
And good to see here, the coach doesn't come out. The team just huddles in the center to help settle Burgert down, just make sure he's feeling good. And honestly, you got to feel for him. Apart from the home run, it just hasn't been great fielding, I think, from Seton Hill overall.
Yeah, there was the misplay to start the inning. We've got the error now. Not helping your pitcher out for sure.
That's a shame because Burgert has looked pretty good to start the game. So, one away. He's facing E.J. Cumbo. Got him that time with the off-speed. And I'll say you definitely don't like Cumbo in this spot either. The Spartans have a lineup that can generally hit 9 bats all the way down. You never have an easy opponent. The easiest for this game would be Hunt, but the problem for Hunt is he's a good power hitter who's got a lefty-righty advantage.
Yeah, and if the Spartans can keep this inning going, there'll be 3 lefties coming up back to back to back between Cumbo up now, Saladino on deck, and Hunt in the hole.
So that could pose a bit of a challenge then for Burgert. Let's see how this at-bat goes against Cumbo. Fouled away, 1-2. I'll give you a quick defensive rundown for Seton Hill. Oberdorf at third, Sebel at second, or short. Wow, completely fumbled that twice in a row. Mailer at second, Fettmeyer at first. Rousseau and Burgert form the battery. Durham in left, Whalen in center, Shepard in right. That one fouled and stays in the park off the netting. And it's hard to tell on the stream, but if you can look way deep in center field, there is a very big fence surrounding the Spartan field because we've got a very active campus when it's not March break, and also a very active Cash Street on the very left, which is active even during March break. So we don't want too many foul balls impeding the flow of traffic. 1-2. And a third straight ball that's going deep left field. This time it actually stays in play and drops to the wall. It scores a run. It's a triple for E.J. Cumbo. That looked like it was going foul, but not only stays in, it evades Durham's glove.
Well, we were just talking about the Seton Hill defensive woes, and they're kind of continuing there. A bit of a follow it around, find out what it eats after he couldn't make the play off the one hopping the wall. That allows the triple for Cumbo.
I think throughout the season, the Tampa Spartans haven't had the greatest BABIP luck, especially for Jamarcus Lyons. He's had so many grid line drives that just get caught by the other team. The exact opposite here. It feels like every ball that gets into play for the Spartans generally leads to a base hit. And it's given the Spartans a 5-run first inning. And I'd have to say, I don't really think it's to any fault of Burgert.
No, he's getting good contact that not all weak contact, but a lot of balls that his defense could have helped him out and made some plays behind him.
Count 1-1 with that one missing. See if Bergert can respond and just try to keep the damage at a minimum. Might need to do so via the strikeout. He gets the big swing and miss from Saladino. And I'll say Saladino's been a great feel-good story for the Spartans, making some debuts off the bench, and he's now solidified himself as a starter for the Spartans. Coming up almost out of nowhere, a very good, consistent defender and contact guy to get on base.
Yeah, and I write for the school newspaper here, and I talked to Joe Urso, Coach Joe Urso, before the season. And actually, he projected Saladino to be battling for second base with Luis Rodriguez, who just made his debut for the Spartans over the weekend at Mississippi College. But that's kind of not the case. He's found his home in left field, which not necessarily surprising, but just it's kind of funny how opportunities present themselves throughout the season.
Swing and a miss, so sadly for Saladino, that will be a strikeout for the second out of the inning. And I'll say it's kind of ironic. Saladino went from second base to left field. Well, in the summer, Mandler was playing center, right, and left field, and now he's playing at second base at Seton Hill. So kind of a reverse for both of their positions. That's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, Adam Hunt. You said that Bergert would face 3 lefties, and, well, here's the third lefty at the bottom of the order. Slider misses inside, ball 1.
Well, if Hunt can keep the inning going and let the Spartans bat around in the first, a fourth lefty, and Lala is on deck right now.
It would be great for Lala to get back on base and in the batter's box. He, of course, had that opening double on the fielding miscue. And by the way, I think that was graded actually as a hit and not an error. So that's only 1 error on the game for the Griffins. It could be changed after the game. Stats are always flexible like that, but for now, that's another extra base hit he can add to his tally. 1-1 for Hunt. Bergert from the stretch. Misses with the off speed. "33 pitches for the day so far for Bergert. The 2-1. This time gets it inside, 2-2. And I think for Bergert, the only flaw is he's just been Babbitt to death so far. There's a lot of good balls in play, and Dasco also took one deep. If you're just joining us, Tampa rebounded after conceding one by scoring 5. Bergert gets him swinging in the dirt. That'll end the inning. For Tampa, it's a great start. For Seton Hill, they're going to need to make a comeback. Good hitting, unfortunate fielding woes. That'll conclude the first inning with a 5-1 Spartan lead. You're watching Tampa Baseball on TampaSpartans.tv.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
I don't know the lyrics, so I can't sing. And we are back to start the top of the second inning. And we were mentioning Torrin Burns. He's going to feel a lot better entering this inning because he's been given a 4-run buffer after a monster first inning from the Spartans.
There's no better way to support your freshman pitcher making his debut than with a 4-run cushion entering his second inning of work.
And I'll say for Burns, beautiful facial hair. Definitely takes the cake for best on the team with it. I was looking up his stats as well and got to see it online, and an absolutely masterful beard. This is a masterful hit. It is a 5-2 ball game. It is a solo shot to start out from Braden Durham. And I think Braden Durham, that was his apology to missing a fly ball earlier in the game. He sends one on a trip to Mars. And that's not great news for Burns, but at least he does have a buffer. Tampa still leads by 3.
Now,
wow.
That was launched. But
that's where you have the sound of the bat telling you that's a home run.
Yeah. Now Durham started his college career at South Carolina Upstate. That's a Division I school, and I think he just showed why he was a D1 recruit at the beginning of his collegiate career.
It's also his first home run of the season, getting on the board. I don't think any player on Seton Hill has more than one yet, but another player showcasing the power. Burns has a chance to recover. This one is grounded to Nunez. Good throw from third to get the first out. So Sable's at bat ends just as quickly as it begins.
A deep play almost at the opposite corner. That's about at least, I don't know the math on that, but that's at least 120 feet on that throw that Dosco had to get up for it a little bit.
It's important to reach the first baseman, and Dosco's got the reach to make a play like that. Ooh, that one fouls away. I think Garavito's fine, though. It did ricochet off his mask. Elijah Snyder has an extra base hit in his only hit of the year. He's had 10 at-bats. I mean, he's already down 0-2 in his 11th. But I will say for Burns, that solo shot on the very first pitch of the inning is probably a wake-up call. Just a reminder, hey, we've got the lead, but be careful. Seton Hill's not going to go down without a fight.
Yes. We knew Seton Hill was going to be a good team coming into this, and still a lot of game left. But the run, see that cushion in the first inning is proving even more vital now. You're still up 3, even after giving up a bomb on the first batter of the inning.
And also say what's great for Burns is he's recovered great. He's just got 2 quick outs and a nice little strikeout there, his second of the game. That's going to bring up Aiden Shepard. He's had 12 at-bats. He's only recorded 1 hit so far. That's the famed check swing foul that you don't like to have as a hitter. Count goes 1-1. Just a reminder for the fielding breakdown for the Spartans. Nunez at third, Urso at short, Earhart at second, Dosco at first, Saladino in left, Lala in center, Cumbo in right, Garavito and Burns form the battery. Previous pitch just outside, 2-1 now. Just misses, was trying to get the outside corner, 3-1.
Burns likes to work quick, I will say that. He's not bowing down to anybody. He's dictating the pace.
And ball 4 just misses outside. And I will say having a great pace of play being fast like that is very useful. Because in the majors, they just implemented the pitch clock. A very short period of time for pitchers to get ready. And being fast, it means that the pitch clock is no longer a weakness. It could be a strength. Just look at what Wandy Peralta was doing. He was getting a strikeout in the same amount of time it took Pedro Baez to throw like 1 pitch. I think that was the player I think he was being compared to in one of the viral videos showcasing it.
Yeah, I've seen how many times can Jose Altuve hit a
inside park home run in that at bat, which is really funny. This one fouled away by Whalen. 0-2 here with 2 away.
But yeah, I mean, with the pitch clock, even major leaguers like Max Scherzer, the former multi-time Cy Young winner, he believes he completely dictates the pace now, and he's trying to find ways to exploit it. So we're seeing major league pitchers want to work fast. College pitchers should try to work fast too.
Close play at first. It almost looked like he was going to beat the runner, but Shepard back just in time to avoid the pickoff throw and tag. Good reaction from Garavito to see that Shepard was getting a little risky with that lead. Missed the slider, 1-2 outside.
Yeah, Shepard's dancing a little bit at first base. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, it's a good chance to run, especially with the top of the order up. Maybe give him a fresh at-bat next inning, even if he gets posed.
He's going to go. And just like you predicted, he was about to get out. But unfortunately, the ball bounces away from Earhart. I think Earhart was trying the hidden ball trick as Lalo was getting to it. But that is a good stolen base from Shepard. The first time they try to steal, he would have been out by a mile on the throw, but just slips out of his glove.
So it's a win-win for Seton Hill. They got a runner in scoring position now and a full count.
That one just low. I think very tough for Burns there. And that is going to bring up Rousseau with 2 away. And we're going to see Militello head out to the mound. I think just going to try to settle Burns down in this high leverage spot. Don't see anyone, of course, warming up yet for the Spartans. But I think it's just going to be a, hey, you're doing a good job. Just get this final out type of meeting.
Yeah, the last 2 at-bats, he's kind of just missing with the balls. It's not too wild.
Burns has looked good to start. I think some well-placed hitting from Seton Hill has put him in a tricky spot here. I also think he's not getting any favors from the umpires, which is a shame. You kind of do hope that in games where you do get a help from the umpires, it could be used on days where you've got a freshman or someone with a little less experience in the mound to get him settled in, but he's going to have to face the cruelty of no 50-50 calls so far.
Yeah, control wasn't an issue to start, but the 2 walks in the last 2 plate appearances now have Seton Hill in a chance to strike with 2 outs.
So Rousseau will have a shot here. Burns from the stretch. Just misses low. Big question here is maybe do the runners get active again? We're already seeing Whalen with the big lead at first. It's primarily because Stosko's not trying to hold first at this stage. Neither is Earhart or Urso trying to hold second. Any hit into the outfield would be scary because 1 run would be guaranteed to score, and Whalen might have the speed to bring a second home. And this one misses outside. It's 3-0.
Well, now you have to wonder about action in the bullpen for Tampa.
Ball 4. Tying run on first. And I will say, maybe you do see someone warm up in a second, as you mentioned. Tampa needs. They can go with Braden Nelson. They've got a long gap until their next game, and Nelson would be coming off a few days of rest. We also know that Nelson can go the distance if he's asked to. He can easily cover 3, 4, even 5 innings. Bases loaded. Might not be a bad idea. And in fact, Urso... yeah, he's going to come out. That'll be it for Burns. So Urso was contemplating for a second, but especially with a batter who hit an RBI double last time, it's not going to take any chances. And that'll end the day for the freshman. I'd say Burns, not a terrible day on the mound in total.
Yeah, considering his first start as a Spartan, could have gone better, could have been worse. But we'll see who's coming out of the bullpen. But whoever it is, if they can get the final out, 2 earned runs and 2 innings pitched, 1 2/3 inning pitched.
It looks like it'll be
for much more.
Looks like it might be Cameron Serena entering the game. We see a lefty from the bullpen. Might be wrong. We'll have to double check once we see the number. But yeah, good to see Burns getting his first action. And I think it's always tough to give a rookie a debut in a starting role. You'd rather have him come in and go for an inning or 2 to get settled in. But I think the stress on the bullpen and even the rotation over the past week made Urso want to try that change.
Yeah, with the other freshman pitcher on the roster, Ashton Pokel, that's kind of how he got eased into pitching this so far this season. First made a relief appearance and then got a start on a Monday night.
So Michael DeMoe is going to enter the game. He is the change the Spartans will make. And, well, just like Burns, DeMoe is making his first appearance of the year. The difference being is that DeMoe has been very active with the Spartans. 18 innings pitched last year, a 1.93 ERA, 18 strikeouts to 10 walks. Now, I will say what's interesting, though. Tampa's bringing in a lefty. Seton Hill has no lefties in their lineup. Their entire lineup is righties, so you aren't working with that platoon advantage.
There aren't too many southpaws in the bullpen or rotation for Tampa. So I don't think it's a deal about playing the matchups. I think it's just more about just arms that are available right now. Used a lot of pitchers yesterday, but I do think we will see Nelson at some point, and for an extent for multiple innings. He went 3 1/3 on Friday, all scoreless in Tampa's 4-3 win against Mississippi College. I also think Dalton Ross and Paul Sullivan could be available after they did pitch Friday and Saturday, not in huge roles, but did have the off day yesterday.
Another person I think we could eventually see, maybe Dalton Ross as well.
Yeah.
Another active reliever. Another role he takes for the Spartans is unofficial ball boy. He likes to go out behind home plate and get any foul balls or balls that evade the field of play. Very good hustle to always get them. But he also has a fun sidearm delivery as well, which makes him a cool player to bring in because you don't always see sidearm pitchers. It's a weird way for batters to adjust because they normally see the ball way up high, a lower release, weirder to read.
Yeah, arm angles are a huge deal with how well you can hit off a pitcher. So the pitchers are usually unique. He's really unique.
2 away, bases loaded for DeMo. This one popped up. And it's going to drop. Saladino and Urso had a failure to communicate, and it is now a 5-4 game.
I'm not sure what happened on that play, but very similar to what's happened to Seton Hill in the first inning, but that's got to be Saladino's ball all the way.
I think so. Urso was tracking back, which is why probably Saladino got confused, but someone needs to make the call for the ball there.
And the worst part, with 2 outs and the bases loaded, the carousel can move. There's no need to stop the runners. 1 run's supposed to come in.
I'll say the good news for the Spartans is that Garavito quickly makes the final out. So even though this put the Spartans in an even more dangerous spot, they quickly get out of the jam. In 2 pitches, 2 batters come up. One scores 2, and the other pops out. Seton Hill's already got themselves pretty far back. They're now within 1 as we enter the bottom of the second inning. Tampa still holds a lead, but the baseball game is back in play here at the University of Tampa. Well, if you're a fan of offense, you're probably a little disappointed last night as it was dominated by good pitching and good fielding. Today, it's the exact opposite. 9 runs in the first 3/3 of innings. Well, halves of innings because you can't really have thirds in an inning. I think I just kind of missaid that, but one thing I won't missay is a 5-4 Spartan lead as the Spartans will have a chance to open up the second inning. But unfortunately for Jordan Lala, that is an immediate ground out to Sable, 1 away.
So 2 consecutive days, 2 high-scoring games already for the Spartans. As we're in the bottom of the second now, I can assure you the final of today's game is not going to be 5-4.
It certainly should be a little higher than that. If you're a fan of offense, Spartans will always deliver, and the Griffins have done the same. Here's Drew Earhart, ball 1. He dropped a sacrifice bunt last time. In a spot like this, he's not going to bunt. He's going to be hoping to hit through the middle as the left field infielders are actually shifted a little far over. They're hoping that he's going to pull it that way so they can try to get the second out.
Yeah, center field shaded a bit more towards left center. Still around the left side of the U and the UT logo printed in center field.
Yeah, it's hard to tell on broadcast and even from up here, but the turf, they do have a nice print of the UT logo, which is cool to see. And from aerial, it looks beautiful. Swing and a miss, gets him with the off-speed 2-2 count here. He got him biting in the dirt. Here's Bergert. Ahead against Earhart. And this time he's going to be rung up. And that's the first time I think the 50-50 has gone the pitcher's way all day. Although they looked a little safer inside. It's still tough for Earhart. 2 away quickly for the Spartans. That brings up J.D. Ursa with the bases empty. Got on with the bases with a runner at third. And scored with a fielder's choice error. Opposite field. And it is caught by Shepard on the run. No fielding issues this time. 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans. An uncharacteristically quick inning in the game. And we'll be back with more Spartans baseball to start the top of the third. Well, Shane, it almost feels like a minute ago we were saying starting out the bottom of the second inning, but a very quick inning on defense for Seton Hill. The Spartans will be hoping for the same thing as DeMoe begins his second third of an inning on the mound.
Yeah, despite the one-run lead for Tampa, it kind of feels like momentum's in favor of Seton Hill right now.
And if there's one player who can capitalize when they've got the momentum, it certainly is Max Mandler. He came in for the clutch with Elmira over the summer. However, he wasn't able to convert last time when he had a runner in scoring position. He had a deep flyout to left field. We'll see if he can do anything here against DeMoe. This one ripped back for a foul ball. 0-1.
Oh, the guy on deck, his deep fly ball to left cleared the wall by a long shot.
Went a little further than 310 or 305 that Mandler's flyout had. Durham took that one 360. Maybe even longer than that.
I was going to say that might be an underestimate.
Probably could have escaped a few of the major league ballparks. As Mandler swings and misses at the slider inside, 0-2.
Yeah, I will say the one bad thing about the 360-degree net around is you can't ever really tell how far a ball is going to go because it's going to hit the net and stop.
Yeah. The good news is for balls in play, you can tell how far they went. That one was a sharp line drive right into the gap in left and center. Mandler will stop at first for a leadoff single. And I'll say playing in a wood bat league over the summer certainly helps when you get the extra pop from metal bats in the next spring. Runner on first now for Durham. And we just were mentioning, he took it yard last time. Nice power off the bat. But it's going to be another victim of the foul net. almost bouncing all the way back onto the field. Actually have to take a warm-up throw as the field of play wasn't cleared.
Yeah, that was Durham's first home run of the season, marking his 4th extra base hit on the year. It's a young season, though, for Seton Hill compared to Tampa.
Mandler and Durham also entered the game with an equal .357 average. And again, high averages generally, you'll see that to start the year, but if they can keep it up, that would be very good. Although Durham was looking to bunt this time, that's actually a good idea. Try to catch them off guard. You're not going to think the batter that just took one 380, 390 feet is going to try to drop a bunt down and advance a runner. Pickoff throw, Mandler is safe.
Yeah, I think Seton Hill wants to run a little bit too, but with the lefty DeMo on the mound, he can do a lot better job of holding the runner on first, a lot more honest than a right-hander could.
Over the summer in 35 games, Mandler did have 13 stolen bases, so he can catch the pitcher off guard. And I'll mention, of course, at a collegiate level, it's a little bit easier to get stolen bases than you would at a higher level of play like the major leagues or even minor league baseball. That's why it's good to have a lefty pitcher who can quickly make the throw to first, forcing runners to be a little careful out there.
Although, unlike the major leagues, DeMo can pick off however many times he wants. With the new pitch clock rule, there's 2 disengagements for major league pitchers, and if you don't get him on that 3rd try, he gets to move up a base.
Here goes Mandler, and what's the call? He is out the throw, got there just in time, and Earhart held on to it this time, so they get the tag. A good 1-2 throw on defense. Not a bad jump from Mandler, but just out by half a hand length since he slid in head first.
Yeah, it was a perfect throw by Garavito, and I think everybody knew that Mandler was going to try and run at some point, but it doesn't work out.
So unfortunately for Tampa, they do get the out, but they now will once again have a runner on first. No, the scoreboard was wrong. Instead, it's now a full count 3-2 instead of a 3-1 that it read there. It was already a 2-2 count before. Popped up, Earhart tracking back, and that is the 2nd out of the inning. So good recovery from DeMo. Gives up the leadoff single. Mandler gets a little bit too aggressive, gets caught stealing, and now 2 away with no one on. Could be a 1-2-3 inning in a somewhat unorthodox fashion.
Would be a good shutdown inning for Tampa to maybe try and gain back some of the momentum that I felt was lost at the start of the inning.
Sabo at the plate, 0 for 1 today, hitting .200 on the year. He's also a member of Seton Hill that has a home run, and with that previous home run from Durham, every one of the top 7 hitters, with the exception of Wiedmeyer, has hit one out of the park this year for Seton Hill. One and one here. Bottom of the order for Seton Hill, but see if they can try to generate something where the Spartans can get their bats ready to go. Off speed, drawing a big swing and miss. Now 1 and 2 for DeMo, looking to get out of the inning with no damage done. Would be the first inning that Seton Hill hadn't brought a run home in. Fouled away.
DeMo's had a good outing so far.
DeMo was pretty good for the Spartans last year. And I'm not sure if he was recovering from an injury or something, that being the reason that he hadn't been getting a lot of work early on, but he's generally been good at keeping things quiet and not conceding too many runs. And he's got the swing and miss to end the inning. 1-2-3 after a leadoff hit and caught stealing. Tampa still holds a 1-run lead as we enter the bottom of the 3rd.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to...
It's just about ready to go for the bottom of the third. Leading off for the Spartans, the home run king, E.J. Dosko, already 5 home runs in 16 games, and he recently sent one deep. However, unlike Durham, Burgert will have a chance to try to get some revenge. And what I mean by unlike Durham is that Tampa Sparta didn't have a chance. Sparta? That is a weird way to say Spartan starter. Tampa starter in the game had been pulled in a tough bases loaded spot before he had a chance to get revenge against Durham. And unsurprisingly, being a little careful against Dosko, a 2-0 count lead for him. But again, you walk Dosko, then you have to face Garrett Vito with a runner on. Opposite field and foul. Had the power to go all the way, but it just drifts a little too far to the right.
Yeah, with this Tampa lineup, I don't think there's an easy out anywhere.
The only ones I'd suggest is potentially Saladino and Hunt, being ones that aren't exactly hitting 300 this season yet, but they've also delivered in big at-bats. 3-1 here for Dosko. And we've already mentioned that Garavito's on deck and a very dangerous 5-hitter. Count goes full on the foul ball. Interestingly for the Spartans, they actually haven't gotten a runner on with a walk yet. Burgert has shown really good command on the mound. First time we've actually seen him fall behind deep into a count. Even though he had a 30-pitch first inning. Entering the third, he's only at 42. This one, deep to right. Not deep enough. One away.
Yeah, Burgert, you look at the box score, he got knocked around. We're going to attribute some of the hits to maybe just some defensive indifference, if you will. But now he's retired the last 4 batters he's faced, including the going 1-2-3 last inning.
And that's a tough group of batters to sit down in a row, so that's some good stuff showing from Burgert. And Garavito is going to be looking to turn that trend around as the Spartans' middle of the order is up to begin. 1-0 taken low on the slider. Garavito was a transfer from Santa Fe, and he has settled in greatly for the Spartans. Entered the game .368 on his average. He also has 2 home runs, tied for second in the team in that category. And 10 RBIs is also one of the leaders in that category, too. Tried to frame it, but also wouldn't get it. 3-0 count.
I don't think he has the green light here at 3-0.
Obviously just take. Let him give you the free base. And indeed he will. 4 straight pitches. Opens up a double play opportunity as Nunez gets his second shot at the plate. I should thank Nunez as well. His shenanigans he pulled at third base got my voice broadcast live on John Boy Media for hundreds of thousands of people to hear.
Now, did you notice the whole hand waving at the time?
No, not at the time. But the good news is it didn't interfere with the play. So because it did get cut off before the ultimate result, runner was able to tag up and get home safely. And Nunez didn't have another at bat, so Davenport didn't have a chance for what Twitter people theorized could be a retaliation inside pitch incoming.
Yeah, I did see a lot of people calling for some buzzing of the tower, maybe some sweet chin music, but thankfully that didn't happen.
Tampa also was able to complete a comeback later against Davenport as well, as that previous play then had tied the game at 1-1. Similar to the most recent outing for Seton Hill, it was a 2-1 finish for the Spartans. Dosko hit a walk-off home run. Wouldn't you know, another Dosko home run in a big spot for the Spartans. 1-1 here for Nunez. Popped up and foul. got on base with the error last time. He also scored later in the inning off a combo hit. One-two to Nunez. Stays alive. Bullpen is empty for Seton Hill. They're trusting Burgard, and not a bad idea. He still looked pretty good despite the recent 3 straight balls for the walk. And he's recovered well in this at-bat. Fouled away.
Yeah, Nunez is battling here, but for Burgard, now his offense has helped him out after a bad first inning. It's a one-run game, and you got one of your best starters on the mound. That's who you want out there fighting for you.
Let's see if Burgard can keep the fight going here. Swing and miss. That is another strikeout, number 4 in the game. And now there's 2 away. They're in the bottom of the 3rd.
Good off-speed right there by Burgard to get Nunez. Looked like a changeup almost.
Yeah, kind of a mix between a curveball and changeup. Not as much, I think, horizontal break as a curveball. They kind of go further down. Getting a big swing and miss. Here's E.J. Cumbo with 2 away and a runner on. In the dirt. Good reaction from Ralso to get up and get on top of it. Garavito's not the biggest base stealing threat. He's not going to be like a Cadenas or Lala that can absolutely torch you on the base paths, but the ball got away. I think Garavito would have enough of a jump to get to second and make it a little more uneasy of a spot for Burgard. Swing and a miss there. Focusing on some inside pitches against the lefty. I'm not sure if he's a cutter, but a cutter, if you want to pitch inside to a batter, is very good if you're facing a lefty. It's one of the pitches that is best used on opposite-handed hitters. I know last time I was up here with Brandon Davis, he was mentioning that a cutter is a really good pitch for a pitcher to have. And weirdly enough, you don't always see it in modern MLB, but some pitchers are able to utilize it well. I know Corbin Burns is one of them. At the start of his career, he was struggling with his fastball. Changes his grip slightly, becomes a cutter, and now all of a sudden he's winning Cy Youngs.
Well, I think maybe the most famous pitch of all time was Mariano Rivera's cutter.
This one's going to be grounded to second. Good play by Mandler. Sadly for Mandler, the throw just off target. He had to make it quickly. Wittmeyer, a little contact on the play, but he looks okay, which is good.
Just a chopper to the right side, and it's an awkward play for any second baseman to make. He's got to kind of throw it across his body, but it's a very short throw. I don't know if maybe trying to turn his hips and underhanding would have been better, but Garavito isn't able to advance to third on a play, so limited the damage.
It's a great play by Ralso just to get behind and make sure the throw didn't get too far away, and that's a very tough play for anyone to make. It's good enough for Mandler to get to the ball in the first place, but it was going to be very tough to beat the runner and get it on target on an awkward angle like that. 2 on, 2 away, 0-1 count for Saladino. And also on the play, it's been scored as a hit, and honestly, that's probably fair as Cumbo had reached first, I think, before the throw was going to be completed, even though it did miss. Outside, and the count is 1-1. In the dirt, lands behind Saladino. 2-1.
Saladino struck out the last time, swinging. But he's coming up with runners in scoring position. Garavito on second. Let's see if he can do something here.
He's got 4 RBIs. I know he wouldn't mind finding number 5 here to take the Spartans past 5 for their runs scored this game. Popped up. Should end the inning if Sabel can get under it. Yes, he does. No fielding issues this time. And despite a really rough play that put two aboard, they'll both get stranded. Tampa still holds the lead as we enter the fourth inning. We'll be back with more on TampaSpartans.tv.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
Number 32, Kyle Hornsby.
Inside the 30. Touchdown. Michaela burns it.
At the million, college athletes, a path to go pro in something other than sport.
And here we go for the top of the fourth. I'm Shane Battagna doing my maiden voyage of play-by-play calling. We've got a 5-4 game here with Seton Hill coming up to bat. Snyder will be leading off the inning, followed by Shepard, and then to the top of the order with Jack Whalen in the hole. Michael DeMoe is coming out to start his third inning of work. Snyder struck out swinging his first time up, looking to redeem himself here. The first pitch is tapped foul up the third base line. The defense is pretty much straight up for Tampa. Earhart is shifted a bit towards the second base bag, but I wouldn't say he's too far out of position. DeMoe comes set. And the 0-1 is taken. Called, strike two. Snyder entered the game in a bit of a slump to start the season. Batting 100 to enter the game, and he goes down on 3 pitches. Strikes out swinging for his second of the day. 1 away. This brings up the last batter, Aiden Shepard, who entered today batting under 100, .083 on the line. The first pitch is taken high for a ball. Another ball, this one low, 2-0 now. This one's driven deep to left field. Back goes Saladino. He looks up. It's gone. Well, I guess that's an announcer jinx because forget the batting average. Aiden Shepard just tied this game at 5. Saladino went back on that ball, but he never really had a chance. But simplify baseball, a 2-0 count, looking for something to hit, and he got something to drive, and he did just that with it. The first pitch to Whalen is popped up down the right field line. Will anybody get there? It's misplayed by Cumbo. That ball's going to trickle over by the bullpen. They trip over themselves, and the ball is going to trickle out of play. Yes, Whalen's going to have to go back to second base on that. Almost a Looney Tunes kind of play. Cumbo overran it, and then in the chase between Cumbo and Earhart to try and go pick up the ball, they tripped over themselves. And saved by that little cutout over by the Seton Hill bullpen. A huge break for Tampa, because Whalen would have been standing up at third. And the manager is pleading with the umpires to at least get him to third base now.
As I was walking back, I was looking at that play, and I'm surprised he did send him back to second. Probably could have kept him at third, but although Seton Hill will still now have that go-ahead run on second.
I was getting prepared for perhaps an inside-the-park home run try, because the Spartans took forever to get to that ball.
And Whalen has the speed to make it all the way around.
So he's going to be credited with a double there.
For what it looks like, Seton Hall wants to get a runner at third immediately. Whalen was running immediately on that pitch.
Yeah, I mean, coming into today, I could talk all about the team ERAs of both Tampa and Seton Hill, but their defenses aren't helping their cases right now for either team. This ball's grounded the second baseman. Earhart fields, throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. Whalen advances to third. Rousseau is out. So this brings up Jack Oberdorf, the number 3 hitter. He doubled his first time up and doubled in his second at-bat as well.
With Urso, they're going to bring in someone new, and my guess is either they're going to be bringing in someone who I didn't see get warmed up. My other guess, I believe, is over in the dugout right now, so it's not actually going to be Braden Nelson. But instead, it looks like someone else coming into the game. That'll be the day for Demo, though.
If that is number 16, I believe that's Jack Brodsky.
I think so. It looks like Brodsky.
Or, excuse me, number 18.
Yes.
Now, Brodsky came into yesterday's game and got 2 huge outs for the save. 2 huge strikeouts looking in a 12-11 game where Mississippi College was able to get the tying runs and winning run on both third and second base respectively. And Brodsky came in and could not have pitched any better. Pitched perfect and getting the 2 biggest outs of the game.
I'll say Brodsky's quickly gained trust from Urso coming in from the bullpen. He's done a great job of doing so all year. One of the few Tampa pitchers that hasn't conceded a run all year in 4 innings pitched. He's only allowed 2 hits and 1 unearned run, 6 strikeouts, and 2 walks alongside that. Good to see the Emory transfer with a great start to his starting career.
Yes, the New Jersey native. Always
Tampa
relates to a fellow Jersey boy.
I think Tampa will also eventually have a hole at that closer position. This is, I think, going to be the eventual final season for Braden Nelson in the bullpen. COVID eligibility, I think, gave him the extra year alongside being a graduate student. So someone like Brodsky keeps performing well, could very well fill that hole.
Yeah, I mean, it is his second day of work, but I would think here is still very early in the game. I think we could see Brodsky being asked for more than just to get 1 out right now.
He had multiple starts last season, so we know he can go pretty far into games. I have a feeling that Urso will want him in for a couple innings at least. Keep the strain of the bullpen at a minimum, even though they do have 4 days of rest coming up. Seton Hill, on the other hand, they don't have 4 days of rest. Their next game is going to be against Ashland on Wednesday, Wayne State on Thursday, Florida Southern on Friday, and then Sioux Falls on Saturday.
Yeah, so even more of a reason for them to ride Burgert for as long as they can. But now Oberdorf stands in the box. Brodsky comes set and delivers a swinging strike. 0-1.
Looks like he was able to capitalize on the changeup, getting a big swing and miss.
The center fielder Lala shifted towards right center field actually with the right-handed batter up. As the second pitch is taken outside for a ball.
I'll say that's always an interesting one. Those fastballs, I've seen them more often than not get called for strikes, but at the very least today, they've been going more for balls for both teams, but especially with Seton Hill batters. I think that definitely hurt Tampa's starter for the game, Torrin Burns, a little bit, because he had a few well-placed pitches in the corner. Unfortunately, were called balls.
The 2-1 now. It's popped up behind the first base bag in foul territory. Dosko is under it. He squeezes it, and that'll end the inning. Seton Hill is able to tie the game on Shepard's home run. And after after the top of the fourth, it is 5-5.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
Where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
All right, and we're back here for the bottom of the fourth. Adam Hunt will be stepping in for his second at-bat of the day. Struck out in his first time around. He takes strike one at the knees. Brodsky's working quick. The second pitch is lined into right field. In comes the right fielder, and he'll make the grab. A tough line out caught by Shepard there. One away. And that brings up Jordan Lala in the top of the order for the Tampa Spartans.
I think that's quite unlucky for Hunt. He's been looking for a positive stretch where he can really solidify himself and get more comfortable, but even though a hit like that is good, it sadly won't help the Spartans in this spot. But they do have the top of the order now.
That first pitch is taken low and in for a ball. Lala doubled his first time up in a bit of a defensive miscue. And then grounded out to shortstop his second time as that pitch is taken for a ball. For a strike, actually.
I think that might have been a missed call. And again, we're just broadcasters in the booth. Yeah. We're not that good at actively reading pitches, but it looked just a tad bit outside.
You know, I thought it was a ball, and then I looked up and I saw a strike, and I wanted to go with it. But it doesn't matter. That ball's lined into grounded up the middle for a base hit.
That's kind of those ball don't lie plays. When a call isn't maybe perfect, they're able to respond with a clean hit to get aboard. It'll be interesting to see if Lala tries to do the same thing as Mandler, get active in the base path. He's already got 7 stolen bases this year.
Yes, he led the team in stolen bases last season. Would not be out of character for him to go at some point in this at-bat. But he stays on that first pitch as it's taken up and in. Earhart turns away and avoids getting hit up by that pitch. Berger comes set. And that ball's flied into center field. He's ranging back. Whalen is under it now, and he makes the catch about 5 or 10 feet from the warning track for the second out.
It's good contact from Earhart, but just not enough to really get in deep center field. That's the thing. You can get a lot of power and send it deep center field, but it's always the deepest part of the ballpark, with the exception of a few ballparks that have very bad like alleys and corners and like left and right center. So it's going to be hard to really send one straight down the middle.
Well, now in steps Urso. Lala takes off, but the throw by Rauso is non-existent as he can't get the transfer off, and that's an easy stolen base for Lala.
Good jump there from Lala. Could have been a close throw, but yeah, Rauso, just not a clean enough transfer.
Urso takes a breaking ball in the dirt for ball 2. So now he's ahead in the count with a runner in scoring position. He's already had over 20 RBIs this year, and he can get one right here that'll put the Spartans in front.
You also definitely don't want to walk JD Urso. You've got Tosco on deck, and he's arguably the only scarier hitter on the team than JD Urso.
There is the open base, if you believe in that. First seeing Hill as a little bit of a backdoor breaking ball. Falls in for strike 1.
I think when it comes to open bases, that's with a good idea on a 1-out count to try to maybe get a runner aboard. But 2-out might just be an unnecessary risk.
The 2-1's taken at the knees. It's 2-2 now. The shortstop Sable's doing a little bit of work to try and keep Lala honest at second base.
I think you also have to be careful. Lala goes to third. If that throw goes wild from Rosso, Lala scores and the Spartans take the lead.
The 2-2. Fouled off to the right side.
Shortstop also might want to reduce that Lala lead because, again, it's 2 out. Lala's going to be running on any form of contact. If you can keep him a few feet back, it might give you enough time on a shallow grounder to try to keep him from heading home.
The left fielder's playing really back. The rest of the outfield straight up. The 2-2. Low and out for ball 3. Some of the Seton Hill fans wanted it, but I don't think the pitch was all too close.
That one, I think, yeah, was a bit outside.
So now the 3-2. Berger comes set and delivers a foul ball behind home plate. A couple of foul balls now in this at-bat.
I'll say this will be a successful inning for the Spartans because they will keep getting Berger tired. And even though they have an off day, Seton Hill, they've shown that they don't want to get too aggressive with their bullpen. Might be able to try to force the change.
Yeah, still no action in the 5-5 game right now. Another 3-2 offer. This one's poked towards right field. Shepard doesn't have to move as he squeezes it for the final out. The Spartans strand one runner in scoring position, and after 4, we're still tied 5-5. We'll be back right after this. All right, and we're back, entering the top of the fifth now. The Seton Hill Griffins will have 3, 4, and 5 up to start this inning. Or excuse me, 4, 5, and 6. Vietmeyer, Mandler, and Durham.
It's going to be, I think, tough for Brodsky. He's got to face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. And so far, they've been okay. 2 for 6 on the day. Of course, Durham is one of the 2 home runs for Seton Hill as well.
Yeah, Vittmeyer's 0 for 2 so far today, but he's in that 4 hole for a reason. He takes strike 1 down the middle. But now we're moving towards the second half of this game, and I remember at even 5-1 that this game was going to be far from over. And I'll pat myself on the back for being right, as that ball's tapped foul on the third base line.
For the Spartans, it may have been a little commentator's curse, the opposite for Seton Hill. But indeed, shows that these games go down to the wire, and I reckon we're going to have a little more scoring coming soon as well.
The 0-2's taken outside.
Naturally, because I guess we're going to get some scoring soon. Probably Max Mandler hits one home run left field on a 2-1 count. That'll be my guess.
In this inning?
Potentially. I know the sports gods like to make me feel stupid for saying things, and then I have to backtrack like, okay, so it didn't mean scoring this inning. I was anticipating scoring later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got bad luck when it usually comes to that, so I'll throw that gamble out there.
The 2-2. Grounded up in the middle, but Earhart shifted there. He fields it routinely and throws him out for the first out of the inning. But when you first were talking about predicting, I wanted to kind of lock you in because there's an old clip, but Matt Tuiasosopo, his first career home run was essentially predicted almost down to the pitch.
Yeah, literally in the first inning, he's saying, like, I think he's going to get his first home run here on a 3-1 fastball. And literally, like, in the second inning, he hits a 3-1 fastball as a home run.
Yeah, I think... the first pitch is grounded. Urso stutters almost. He couldn't get his footing around, but he makes a strong throw to get Mandler out just in time. A bang-bang play, but it goes the Spartans' way. 2 out now in the inning.
Prediction goes wrong, and yeah, a little bit of an awkward transfer for Urso as he picked up the ball, but fires the quick throw, and Mandler out by maybe half a step there. Very close play.
Yeah, he just couldn't get his feet settled, and that throw had to kind of become all arm, but his arm strength is strong enough to get him. The first pitch is taken for a strike. Durham, who homered in his first time up, popped up to second base in his last at-bat. And now he's in an 0-2 hole.
Good stuff from Brodsky, looking to try to get the side down in order. Now we do finally see a lefty warming up for Seton Hill.
The 0-2 offering misses low and out. But it would be smart for Seton Hill to get some lefties up, as Tampa's got 4 of them, and a switch hitter Nunez in the lineup today. The 1-2 from Brodsky. He checks his swing. And he did go around. Garavito picks it up and throws him out to end the inning. 1, 2, 3. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th, tied at 5. Doskow steps in. He'll take the first pitch low and away for ball one. He's already made his impression on this game with a home run in the first inning. His 5th of the year. And this one's hit well. Back goes Whalen onto the track, and he leaps up and makes the grab. Just shy of the 395 sign. And after a first inning with some poor outfield play, a great one by Whalen to make the first out of the inning.
A little too shallow to be a true home run, Rob, where you jump onto the wall and make a highlight catch. But instead he takes a leap and prevents what would have been a hard-line drive for extra bases. Doskow has the power, but not helped enough by the win today to get his second home run.
The first pitch curveball offering misses up. 1-0 to Garavito.
I'll say we mentioned that Seton Hill's getting our lefty ready. I think they're definitely anticipating the Combo Saladino Hunt trio that could be up should Garavito and Nunez get set down in order by Berger.
And that kicks back to a quartet once Lala comes back up. The 2-0 misses down. Now a 3-0 count. He faced one his last time where he walked. I doubt he swings here. This fastball's taken, though, for a strike.
3-0 is the take all the way, but that green light's going to flash here on a 3-1 count.
He does swing away, but it's fouled away. So now from 3-0 to 3-2, Berger gets back into this at-bat against Garavito. Trying to retire him for the first time today. But this one's going to miss low. Ball 4, a second consecutive walk for Garavito. And the Spartans have one on now with one away in the inning.
Great discipline for Garavito just to work the count and doesn't get too greedy in the spot. He's able to take the walk, add a couple extra pitches onto Berger. And again, with a lefty warming up, I have a feeling that Nunez may very well be the last batter he faces, even if he gets an out, because they're probably wanting to play into the hands of Tampa. In fact, they're actually going to make the change now, as we are going to see Coach Mark Marizaldi head out to the mound.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but because with Nunez being a switch hitter, maybe just going to get him out of his comfort zone, have him switch sides of the plate. He was just preparing as a lefty. Now he's going to see something new as, yes, here comes a new pitcher for the Griffins.
Good outing from Berger, though. He gets through 4 1/3, and after a 5-1 first inning, he's able to keep it quiet with 4 strikeouts and only 2 walks. Not as beautiful as the 5 2/3 10 strikeout day he had, but he's done the job to keep things level and try to quiet those Spartan bats down.
Yeah, Berger gets a warm welcome or a warm congratulations, warm round of applause by the Seton Hill fans here in attendance today. But now the southpaw Blake Barker's on the pitch. Barker has only pitched 2 1/3 innings so far this year, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs. So I would have to think Seton Hill thinks they're in good hands right now with who they're putting into the game.
Barker hasn't conceded a walk either, which is pretty useful. Having a pitcher with good command in a spot like this is going to be big. He's going to probably be tasked to go at least an inning or so, get through the majority of the left-handed core for the Spartans. And obviously, if he could go further, that would be great because he'd prevent Seton Hill from really burning up their bullpen as they continue a hard week of games. Tampa has the luxury to do so since they get a full 4 days rest. The entire bullpen will be ready to go, and the rotation will pretty much be able to reset too.
Yeah, this is the 4th and final game of 4 days in a row for the Spartans. And they've had to play some hard-fought games over the weekend in their 3-game series against Mississippi College that they took 2 out of 3 from. All 3 games were one-run games. A 4-3 win in extra innings on Friday, a 4-3 walk-off loss on Saturday, and then a 12-11 slugfest that I could equate to any sort of heavyweight fight in either boxing or UFC, take your pick, because every time you look, the lead was changing.
I'll definitely say as well for Tampa, they're having a lot of close one-run games. But that's actually pretty useful, because when you get to the postseason, you have a lot of high-pressure situations. If you're able to be molded by pressure, you're practicing that day in and day out with very tough situations where one hit is all you need to take the victory. That'll get you set up for postseason where the added tension and pressure is going to really affect people.
The first offering from Barker is low for a ball. The defense for Seton Hill. The middle is in double play depth. They're not playing for a bunt with Nunez here. The third baseman's playing back. And Nunez didn't square around that first time. This ball is driven up the middle. Diving past the shortstop as he can't come up with it. It was just hitting way too hard. And a single now to set up a runner in scoring position now for the Tampa Spartans.
I'd love to get the exit velocity on that hit. Very sharp, and Sebel, good reach for it, but just not in a position to make the grab and try to turn two. That's exactly what the Spartans needed, and E.J. Cumbo has proven he can hit off of lefties before. He had a walk-off earlier this season against the lefty pitcher. Has a chance with a runner in scoring position to give the Spartans a lead. Also, Saladino will be pinch hit for. Urso gives a nod to the dugout.
I think that's McAllister Jorgensen in the on-deck circle.
Indeed, I think it is. And I think Danis also might be eventually coming in for Hunt as well. They're two players that Urso likes to pull off the bench.
But it's 1-1 now to Cumbo. This one's fouled off to the left side and out of play.
Almost got over the fence and onto the street, but it bounces back into play for Dalton Ross. I think he just barely got into camera as he was going to pick up the ball.
Barker is listed as a two-way player, the sophomore out of Chardon, Ohio. But right now we're seeing him on the mound on the defensive side. This one's grounded. Another one that the shortstop can't come up with. Here comes Garavito. He'll come in standing. And the Spartans take a lead, 6-5 on an RBI single up the middle from E.J. Cumbo.
Whalen was not making the throw home, so instead he actually fires it quickly to Mantler to try to see if they're able to catch. Actually, I think Garavito just scored, so they're trying to catch Nunez off guard if he went a little too far at second. But at the end of the day, Cumbo, great hit, and Spartans are back on top.
Yeah, and now the kind of trading places now. It's the same situation, but they've got another run now for the Tampa.
As we mentioned, Jorgensen comes in as a pinch hitter.
The 0-0 offering is taken low for a ball. A tough spot for the shortstop Sable. Two hard hit grounders within his reach, but needed to dive for them and just couldn't come up with it. This one's taken outside, 2-0.
Of course, you're mentioning Sable not able to get the ones up the middle. Look how far he shifted over to the right this time. He is very much looking for that grounder, hoping that Lightning strikes 3 times here in the Lightning capital of the world and be able to then turn 2 on a play like that.
The 2-0. Flied into right field. Shepard shifts over to his right. He makes the catch. Nunez is only going to try and draw a throw, but he stays put. 2 away.
Good idea to hold him up. Shepard, I think, was going to be able to beat him with the throw to third. He had a great relay into second. That's the reason Nunez turned back. But now, entering the game, Jamarcus Lyons. He will come in as a pinch hitter for Hunt. Obviously, again, trying to challenge the platoon. We see the righty against the lefty.
You know, probably maybe just some chess work from the Seton Hill bench and their manager. All he wanted to do was maybe just get some new guys into the game. It didn't matter who was coming up. You can always think the counteract to the counteract. But this 0-0 to Lions is fouled back behind home plate.
On the season, Lyons has only had 1 strikeout in over 20 at-bats. He's done a great job of just fighting every single time he's at the plate. And unfortunately for Lyons, it doesn't always turn out to be a base hit. He has a .238 average. He's put the ball in play in good spots. One of his big hits of the season was a walk-off in the opening series against Georgia College. And I know it would be great if he could convert another hit here and see if the Tampa Spartans could get a little extra buffer to their lead.
The Owens through the 5-6 hole. Nunez is going to come around. He will score easily. The throw comes into second base to hold Jorgensen there. Or, excuse me, Cumbo there. But extending the lead with Lyons with an RBI single. And as you talked about, Sable was kind of shifted towards the middle to try and avoid it. And I thought that maybe he'd be liable to get something beat to his right. And you just saw it right there.
That one stings the most, as Sable has once again beaten on a ground ball. He shifted as holding the runner at second, and this time, if he was playing a more central shift, he could have potentially picked it up on a backhand grab, but instead it's going to roll past him, and Tampa's up by 2.
So now Barker's back to a lefty-on-lefty matchup that maybe that's what Seton Hill was after all along. But that first pitch goes for a ball. He comes set. Fires. And is taken on the outside corner for a strike.
It almost looked a little low, but just stays in the zone long enough. And again, it's always tough when you're reading a pitch because it doesn't exactly end when the catcher catches it. You have to think about how it travels over the home plate. So if it's sank and not fast enough to go all the way down, that's where the strike comes from.
The 1-1's fouled away. Lala, 2 hits already on the day. Let's see if he can stay hot here in the 1-2 hole. The pitch from Barker. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Froze him. But the Spartans get 2 in the bottom of the 5th. They're now up 7-5. And we're heading to the top of the 6th right after these messages. And we're back for the top of the 6th here at the University of Tampa baseball field. The Spartans, if you're just joining us, took back the lead and now lead 7-5 after RBI hits by both Anthony Nunez and E.J. Cumbo. There were some pinch hitters last inning with McAllister Jorgensen and Jamarcus Lyons. Lala has shifted over to left field. And we have another substitution with Jose Cadenas in center, and Cumbo is staying in right. At first base is still E.J. Doskow, second still Drew Earhart, third J.D. Urso, shortstop J.D. Urso, and third base Anthony Nunez. So the infield stays the same, but some shifts in the outfield now.
Not a surprise to bring Cadenas. He's a very speedy outfielder. He has a lot of range as well. He can really track fly balls down. Him and Lala are a great outfield duo because They're both great center fielders and give a huge advantage for the Spartans defensively out there. And EJ Kumbo, also very underrated. He has a lot of range too, so even though they all are pretty good at hitting, Cadena's a little weaker, but he's incredible, one of the best bunters on the entire Spartan roster. A master of small ball. A lot of dual threat outfielders. Now that is some sweet chin music for Sable there. Oof.
Yeah, that. Watch your lips.
Yeah, that's
if he didn't get out of the way there,
that might be
some bad news.
That might be a hockey type of injury. You lose a tooth on a pitch like that. You never want to see that.
But this one stays more in the strike zone. Cadenas comes in, has to back up a little bit, but he makes the grab and retires the first batter of the inning.
Say it's lucky for Sable to get out of the way of that previous pitch before. Any pitch that goes inside and a little high is very scary in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's anything intentional. Could have just been a little slip from Brodsky potentially on the mound. He's on 17 pitches, so he should be fine stamina-wise. But we also have a pinch hitter coming in for Seton Hill.
Yes, Colin Marin-Petro, the freshman from Imperial, Pennsylvania, listed as an outfield and first baseman. He's got a big open stance. As that pitch is taken just on the low and outside corner for strike one. I will say the umpire is consistent in that call. Same spot on those two strikes on Lala last inning. He gives it to Marin-Petro right there. The 0-1 is grounded to first. Doskow takes it, and he'll take it himself for the second out.
Great running effort from Marin-Petro, but he wasn't going to beat the throw. So unfortunately for him, his second at-bat of the season ends with an out.
So now comes Shepard, the number 9 batter, but he homered in his last time up to tie the game at 5 in the top of the 4th inning. The off-speed is taken for strike one on the outside corner.
Shepard entered the game with a 1 for 12 at-bat record, but his second hit of the game or season is a pretty good one.
Yeah, and I think as the 0-1 here is swung on a miss for strike two, but I think you were still out of the booth at that time, but I had mentioned that he entered the season with a .083 batting average, and then he shut me up really quick with that home run.
I was walking back, actually, from Straz Hall, and I saw that home run sail over the wall, and I thought, oh boy, we've got a tie game.
The 0-2 is taken up for a ball. 1-2 now. The shadows have crept in over home plate now. I wonder if that has any factor on the batters. This one's tapped towards third, but just foul. So we'll have to do it again. Brodsky comes set. And the 1-2. An off-speed pitch outside for ball 2. Another 2-strike offering here. Checks his swing. Did he go? The first base umpire says no. And now we got a full count.
By the way, quickly mention, Mayhew Edwards and Jairo Martinez are the 2 umpires for today. Martinez at first, Edwards at home plate.
The full count offering. Popped up behind second base. Earhart's ranging back. Kumbo comes in now. He calls him off, and he makes the play for the third out. The Griffins go down in order here in the top of the 6th. Still 7-5 Spartans. as the Tampa Spartans are hosting the Seton Hill Griffins. We're heading towards the bottom of the sixth now, and a new pitcher, Michael Marinchak, is into the game on the season so far. 5 innings pitched, a 3.6 ERA, 4 hits, and 4 strikeouts, and with 2 walks as well. The Spartans will have the heart of their order up now as number 2 hitter Drew Earhart steps up to bat. The first pitch takes a fastball low and outside for strike 1.
The low zone has been pretty friendly for pitchers. We saw that in the last inning, and also Brodsky got a few of those low calls this way.
The second pitch is lined towards center field. Whalen is ranging back, but comfortably makes the catch and retires Earhart for the first out of the inning.
Unlucky for Earhart, he's 0 for 3. Would be 4, but his first at-bat was that sacrifice that eventually did score.
Now the 3-hitter Urso steps in. Hitless on the day. A fielder's choice in his first time up, and then 2 flyouts to right field. Marinchak works quick, and we're already at a 1-1 count, I believe.
Faster than Burns was working as well. And he was going pretty quickly, too.
This pitch is skied towards first base. Weitmeier's fighting the sun, but he's able to make the catch near the home plate of the Griffins bullpen for the second out of the inning.
Good start from Marin.
Yeah, now the ever-dangerous E.J. Doskow stepping up the bat. The first pitch, up and in for a ball. He, of course, homered in his first time up as part of a 5-run first inning for the Spartans. He's ahead 2-0 now as that ball skips in the dirt. The 2-0 from Marinchak. Swung on and missed.
I think Doskow was looking fastball, but just fooled him with a slider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those plus counts off speeds usually, they're a good pitch if you can get them over for a strike, because the batter won't be expecting it. But we're getting another plus count here as Doskow's ahead 3-1 in the count.
You also have Garavito on deck in case he does get walked.
This one's lined into center. Whalen ranging back to his left, and he'll settle under it. The Spartans go down in order, 1, 2, and 3, and after 6, they lead 7-5.
And we are back at the University of Tampa. Top of the 7th inning. Due up for Seton Hill is Whalen, Rousseau, and Oberdorf. But they'll be facing a new pitcher for the Spartans, Dalton Ross, making his 6th appearance from the bullpen. He enters the game with a 2.25 ERA and a 1-0 record. 8 strikeouts, the 2 walks. And I will say, he's got a bit of a sidearm release, a little funky, and it's good to see Ross in action here.
Yeah, Ross pitched Friday and Saturday against Mississippi College in some low inning appearances, so I was thinking that we would see some of Ross today, and I think he's going to be setting up for Nelson for sure, especially in a 2-run game that we have as it stands right now.
It would be great if Ross could even get into the 8th inning in an appearance like this, set up Nelson for a shorter stint to work, even though Nelson can definitely go the distance. They're trusting Ross to be the setup guy. And Whalen will be a tricky opponent. He's turned 2 doubles. One of those doubles came off a little bit of a fielding error that almost was a triple. But we'll see if Whalen continues his 2-for-2 day and adds on to his .423 average, which leads Seton Hill.
Yeah, it would have been a triple if not for the ground rules here. And just a little bench area by the Seton Hill bullpen that limited it to a ground rule double instead of being a triple or possibly even more.
That one missing outside for ball 1. The 1-0 to Whalen. Gets him inside, swinging. Kind of pulled back, but way too late in doing so.
Yeah.
Really filthy break on his sinker.
That was an awkward swing right there.
1-2. And indeed, just you see the 2-seam. It's really good. It's kind of a feature for a lot of some submarine/sidearm pitchers. They have very effective sinking fastballs. Another good example of a pitcher who has one, Adam Simber, who's extended on his submarine delivery even further outside.
Yeah, even from up here in the booth, you can tell how much movement that 2-seam has. That ball almost came back on the outside corner, but now it's a full count.
From the stretch, the full count. Grounded hard to Nunez. A good running throw to get the first out of the inning.
Good job by Nunez there to cut off that ball. We always want the third baseman fielding the ball in the 5-6 hole, if possible. Otherwise, it's a very tough play for the shortstop to make on his back foot.
Say as time has passed, Nunez has, I think, gotten even more and more comfortable at third base, expanding his range and being able to reach out for balls a little bit easier. He had a couple of fielding errors at the start of the season, but he's looked a lot better as time has passed. This one, a slider with the strike taken. And again, sinker slider is a great combination to have. You get opposite breaks. Sometimes they're similar speeds, but they're a great way you can challenge hitters. Looked to bunt that time, but he misses. I think he pulled it back, so it's a 1-1.
Yeah, and the combination of both those pitches, they're coming out of the same exact arm slot too, so you have no idea. There's no tell, there's no tipping of the pitch either.
This one low, 2-1. And indeed, you've very little time to react as a right-handed hitter. It's always tough to face off against a sidearmer, and with 2 really good breaking ball pitches, makes it even harder. So that time, fouls it away. He was a bit late on that one.
Nunez won't be playing for the bunt now with 2 strikes as he backs up almost to the edge of the infield.
Once again, the 2-seamers really attacking Rauso inside, drawing another foul ball. Two and two again. Swung on and got him. And that'll be the second out of the inning. Dalton Ross, a great quick start here from the bullpen. That brings up Oberdorf. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs on the game. He popped out in foul territory to Dosco back in the 4th inning. But since then, Seton Hill's been kept relatively quiet. And he's had to wait until the 7th inning for his next at-bat. 0-1, swing and miss.
The slider right there from Ross. And I think the one that struck out, Rosso, was the best one we've seen so far through these first two batters now and onto his third.
Looked like he was trying to get the sinker outside, but just misses. And of course, if you're saying two-seam and sinker and aren't very familiar with pitch terminology, a two-seamer is literally the same thing as a sinker. 1-2 now, as this one's taken down low. Ross try to go 1-2-3 here. This one's going to be blooped to left. It'll get down for a base hit. Very weak contact, but had enough drive to get over Urso's head and in front of Lala.
Yeah, it sounded like he got it off the end of the bat there. Not at all a pleasing sound off the bat, but it doesn't matter, and he'll take it when it results in a base hit.
That's the type of pitch that might break a wooden bat, as it barely tips the end of it. However, it does have enough oomph behind it to get into the outfield. Vittmeyer is up. An over 3 day for him. You could argue he's due for a hit in this at bat, especially since he's entering the game just a tad under 400. 0-2 with two quick sliders, drawing the early swings. And I think you got to feed him another slider because he's gone to a lot of those two-seamers on a two-strike count. So I think that Vietmeyer's going to be looking early again. This one's grounded. Ross can't get it. Earhart tags second for the force, and that ends the inning. So, 1-2-3 for the Spartans. Dalton Ross shutting them down. Well, after, the bloop single. But a quick inning, and the Spartans stay on top. We'll be back with more baseball on Tampa Spartans TV.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for
The batter's box as we're ready to resume the game in the bottom of the 7th. Has a double and 2 walks. He was able to work his way out to base the last 2 times. And he'll have a chance to try to do that again as he takes this first pitch low for ball 1. Garavito, Nunez, and Cumbo do up. 3 tricky hitters for Marinchak. Was able to get through a very tough top half of the Spartan order, down in order. 2-0. This one's lined for a base hit down the middle. And Garavito gets a runner aboard for Nunez.
Just returned to center there by Garavito. Drives that ball right back where it came from, over right past the pitcher's head and into center field for a hard hit. Perfect piece of hitting right there.
Before he disappears into the bullpen, Paul Sullivan is going to go there and I think get stretched out and potentially warmed up. Danny Gutcher will be joining him. Of course, we were complaining over the break. Tampa moved the bullpen behind the wall outside of foul territory, so we can't actively see who's warming up. It used to be out in the open, just like the away bullpen, which also currently has another player warming up for Seton Hill. 0-1 the Nunez, this one taken low.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a selfish complaint for us up here in the booth, but
it would make our job
because
easier.
I would never want the opponent to know what's going on in our bullpen.
Very true. It would make our job easier, but It would also give the opponents a little easier job in trying to guess who's going to come in. It's good to keep that mysterious. 1-1 for Nunez. Had a single, got on with an error, scored twice when he's got a board. Popped up. If this can be gotten in right field by Shepard or in center by Whaling, that'll be one away, and they do.
Whalen made that play look easy. He kind of had to come all the way. That very could have easily been the right fielder's ball as well, but he came over and made the play, and he's shown off a lot of good range today. A lot of balls behind him, especially one that he had to make a play, I think, on Doskow by the 395 sign. He had to jump up and grab it. So that wasn't his easiest catch of the day, but I think he made it look easy.
Certainly needs speed in center field, and Whalen has given Seton Hill just that. That one goes low for Cumbo, ball one.
And Whalen's a freshman, too.
Cumbo, 2 RBIs, a 3-for-3 day. He's absolutely loved every at-bat he's had. He would need just a double and home run for the cycle. That's if he can get 2 more at-bats in this time frame. We also know Cumbo's capable of both. It's the triple that's usually the hit that eludes people chasing a cycle.
Yeah, it's the hardest hit to get.
2-0 now to Cumbo. Cumbo drives this one deep right field. If he has another at bat, he's going to need a double. It's a big home run for E.J. Cumbo to put the Spartans up 9-5. I almost accidentally called that a grand slam, but it's a 2-run shot, and the Spartans now lead by the total of a grand slam.
It might not have been a grand slam, but it was a no-doubter for sure. Cumbo knew he got all of it off the bat. He stared and admired it a little bit before starting his trot. But
another home run for the Spartans today. And I think that's either the 4th or 5th overall for both teams. They have found the power behind their bats. Another player who would like to find the power, but usually doesn't, is Cadenas. He finds a powerful pop fly here that's going to go behind the Spartan dugout.
The only downside of that home run is that at about 5 o'clock right now, it's not dark enough for us to use the lights that were just newly installed this season.
To get to the lights, we probably have to go deep into extra innings for us to eventually see that. But indeed, if you're tuning in, Tampa had recently installed out in center field new red lights that are on the light posts. And also, they have a fun little show where they have the lights active whenever you do see a home run get hit. Back on day 1, Garavito was able to get his debut home run as a Spartan and get the lights to dance around as he trotted around the base paths. If Cumbo had done this a couple hours later, the lights would have been going as well. 2-1 from Cadenas, and that is going to be a base hit. I wonder if Cadenas is going to turn. He's just going to stay because it's quickly picked up by Durham, but he's definitely a threat to try to turn a single into a double. And also a threat on the base paths. I imagine that Marinchak might have to keep an eye out on Cadenas here. You mentioned, of course, unlimited pitch outs at the D2 level, unlike the MLB where you only have a couple times you can step off.
Yeah, I would have to think that Urso would be less inclined to put the steal sign on with a 4-run lead in the late innings. But Cadenas was thinking about it right there. He started his jump and then decided not to.
All I have to say is you can never be too sure with a lead like this. After all, Tampa scored 5 runs in the first inning. What's stopping Seton Hill from doing the same? 1-0, that one was very far in the dirt. Now the pickoff throw, Cadenas is safe. It's Lyons at the plate. Hit a single down the line and brought home a run last time. Cadenas goes this time. He is safe in time, but there is a bit of a collision as he slid into second, knocking Sable over. Actually, no, it was Mandler who gets hit. And that's not good.
I'm not sure where he got hit.
Looked like in the leg.
Yeah, Cadenas didn't do anything out of the ordinary with that slide, but he got a great jump, and he was going to be safe no matter what on that play. So, stand me corrected. Cadenas can fly. He should probably steal any time he gets on base.
Mandler might need an ice pack in the bottom half of the inning as he waits for a potential next at bat. Although, He's going to be leading off, so he'd have to wait until his at-bat is over to do so. As Lyon flies to right, that's going to be a foul ball, and no one can get to it.
Yeah,
Although the good news is, Mandler looks okay. He was able to run and track the ball down, even losing his hat in the process.
He looks like he's limping a bit, though. I wonder if that ball didn't fall too far between either the first baseman, Wiedmeyer, or Mandler. I wonder if
Shepard.
Or I wonder if that injury prevented him from possibly making a play on that ball.
I'll have to wait and see. But for now, Lyons in the 1-2 count. He's going to rip this one, and that will score a run. Cadenas has more than enough pace to beat this throw home. And Marinchak is just going to cut that one off. Actually, no, it's not Marinchak. It's another player, number 50. I got confused by the numbers for a second. Sometimes hard to read jerseys, even though we're pretty close up here at the baseball field.
Yeah, that was Oberdorf, the third baseman, cutting off the ball. He's going to be the cutoff man any time on a ball to left. But, yeah, Cadenas, he could have went upstanding. He slid in as they cut off the throw. And it looks like there's going to be a move here. A pinch runner for Lions.
Yeah, it's going to be TJ Palma, I believe, entering the game as a pinch runner. He's frequently come onto the base paths as a runner. He's had a couple at-bats, too. And I think Lyons, again, maybe still not 100% from his leg injuries that he's had over the season. While he's got it still, his arms are fine. He's consistently hitting the ball well. They might want to go for a little speed. My guess here is that Lala's going to try a bunt.
Yeah, I mean, that was a single all the way out of the box, but Lyons wasn't hustling at all. Kind of just jogged to first, almost like it was a home run at that kind of pace.
Lala's going to be grounded. That one's right to Marinchak, but the throw misses Sable, so Palma has a chance to get to third. Slides in head first. He is safe. And Marinchak just threw it too early, trying to turn two.
Yeah, I think he knew who was on the bases and he knew who was at bat because he completely rushed that throw to second base. He had a lot more time. And on a double play ball, the rule number one is to get at least one out. And there you get none as he throws it into center field.
That'll bring up Earhart with runners at the corners, but also will bring in a new pitcher. Marinchak's day is done after 1 1/3. He's conceded 3 earned and 4 hits, including a home run from E.J. Cumbo. A beautiful 2-run shot from earlier. But now we're going to see a new pitcher entering the game. We'll get you that info very shortly. I'll say with that, it's good news for the Spartans. They expand their lead. They could potentially save appearance from Braden Nelson and keep him at a complete 100% as they enter the new series starting later this week.
Yeah, that'll be a conference play series against Embry-Riddle starting on Friday night. So you do want to have all hands on deck for SSC play.
So entering the game for Seton Hill, Caden Wood, number 28. No runs allowed. He's appeared in 2 games. He's had 1 save, 1 strikeout, and 1 hit allowed. He'll be tasked with the final few innings, I think, for Seton Hill, if he can go the distance.
Yeah, Wood's got to be one of the best relief options that Seton Hill has in their bullpen. But now in a 10-5 game, I wonder if it's maybe too late for him to have entered.
It will be tough. I'll just have to wait and see. Back in 2022, Wood started in 6 games. He had a total of 16 appearances from the bullpen, 48 innings, a 3.91 ERA. He held opponents to a 2.14 average.
Yeah, Wood did not appear in either Saturday's game or yesterday's game for the Griffins. Instead, on Saturday, John McCulloch was used for 2 innings, Jack Laird for 3, and Jared Dowie in a game that they won by mercy rule in 7 innings. And then yesterday against Minnesota State, and I can't remember the city, but they used Kevin Volpel for 6, Aiden Lane for 2, and Ian Korn for a 1/3 of an inning, but he got walked off on in the 9th inning.
So Wood at full energy for this appearance here. As the bottom of the 7th continues, his first pitch just missing the low corner, 1-0. Earhart today 0 for 3. He's only had 1 strikeout. but certainly he'd like to turn that hitting woe around and score. By the way, Palma's at third with his extra speed in the base paths. I was going to suggest a potential sack bunt, but instead it's a foul ball. So close to a home run. Very close. Very hard hit.
I think everybody in the white and black pinstripes was hoping that ball was going to hook and stay fair, but that is a very loud strike one.
And I think we were hoping that too. That was funny. I was about to suggest, why don't you maybe try a squeeze bunt here, use small ball, potentially get that 11th run across. That would have been hilarious if Earhart immediately made that a 3-run ball on that pitch. He's now ahead 2-1 as this one misses outside. Earhart doesn't have a home run yet, but that was very close to number 1. That time, he wanted to send that one to the outfield and just bites on a slider, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have much more veteran presence than Drew Earhart, who's in his 6th season of college baseball with Tampa. And he's shown he can do it all from small ball to the long ball.
This one is taken outside. Lala goes, potentially trying to bait a throw from Rosso to get Palma home. But Rosso checks it up, understands what they were trying to do, and just holds on to it, giving Lala second. And now a full count for Earhart. He's a scary batter to face in a high leverage spot. My source, Carson Queso, and he was up in the booth earlier this year. And he's going to take a ball 4 walk. You know who's scarier than Earhart? J.D. Urso. And now he's got the bases loaded with one away.
Yeah, nowhere to put the Spartans 3-hitter. It's a tough spot if you're a Griffin. And an even tougher spot if you're Wood on the mound.
I'll say that the Griffins don't want to put this game out of reach. They don't want to have too far of a gap to come back. And while the gap is widened, 5 is somewhat manageable. 7 or 8 would be heartbreaking. Urso takes strike 1. Good idea just to take for a new pitcher, see his fastball. That's a bit of advice from Ted Williams. You want to take until you see a fastball so you can read it and base your bat speed and timing off of that. So it's good to see that opening fastball. That'll set him up well for the rest of the at-bat. Fouled away, 0-2.
A little too quick with the bat speed there as he yanks that one foul. And in terms of a comeback, we know Seton Hill can come back down from 4 runs, and they did that in the span of... They cut a 4-run lead into a 1-run lead in just 1 inning, so they can put up the crooked number that they need, but they're running out of time.
Fouled away again, Urso protecting. If Urso strikes out, for Urso, or Coach Urso, his father, it could be a little disappointing. But he would say, hey, at least it's not a double play, because that would then bring up E.J. Dosko with the bases loaded. And he's put the ball in play a few times, and as we mentioned earlier, one of them went far. Fouled away again.
Urso's battling right now. Still an 0-2 hole, but numerous foul balls in this at-bat.
Palma on third, Lala at second, Earhart at first. At the rate the game is going, an active 8th inning could actually see Palma getting at bat later in the game. And also, if the Spartans keep a big lead, that would be a good excuse for Urso to keep him in. Urso rips this one. It will score 1 run. It will probably score 2. It is a 12-5 lead for the Spartans.
Urso just never backed down in that at-bat. Down in an 0-2 hole from the jump. And stayed in and fought and finally got something he could do something with. And put it over the third baseman's head for a 2 RBI single. And I'm going to say this game's kind of been blown open right now in the 8th inning. Or, excuse me, in the 7th inning.
These 5 runs have been very important for the Spartans. Alleviate a lot of pressure. And for Nelson, it means that, unfortunately for him, he probably won't see the mound unless Seton Hill really turns on the offense. Swing and a miss for Dosko, 0-1.
Yeah, see, our pregame prediction was that Nelson was probably going to see multiple innings. And now we're going to see probably no innings from Nelson.
Swing and a miss, so Wood gets ahead of Dosko here, 0-2. I think Dosko's looking higher on those fastballs, similar to stuff that Urso had in the start of his at-bat, but he's missed them. Striking out Dosko would be a great way for Wood to reset and, I think, settle down. That one's inside, ball 1. Strikeout would just leave 2 on for Garrett Vito on deck.
It's quiet in the bullpen right now for Seton Hill. This is Wood's inning, and he's got to find a way to get out of it.
This one's going to be grounded to third. Wood might have his wish. They turn one, Mailer to first, and it is a 5-4-3 double play. But the damage was far done already. A 12-5 lead for the Spartans as we enter the top of the 8th inning. We'll see if that injury affects Mandler in any way, as he will be leading off 5, 6, and 7. We'll be back with more Spartans baseball on TampaSpartans.tv. Danny Rodriguez enters the game for the Spartans. Low leverage outing will give him his Spartan debut, and I'm excited to see him. He was at Daytona State last season. 23 strikeouts and 12 innings pitched. He's got a lot of stuff, and it'll be interesting to see if that stuff can be on full display this time. I'm saying that right? Yeah, Danny Rodriguez. There we go. Yep, 16, 6'8", K through 9, and 45 innings pitched in total.
That's a strikeout rate you want to see out of any pitcher.
That's MLB levels. Some of the best in the game can put up a 16 through 9 K rate, and at a college level, that's pretty scary.
That's like Edwin Diaz level strikeout rate.
You definitely do not envy the position that Max Mandler will be in to start out the top of the 8th inning. He had a line drive in the 3rd inning to get on base. However, he was caught out trying to steal. Back in the 5th inning, he grounded out. Mandler has a chance to be a spark plug for Seton Hill, and he's done that quite often over the summer for the Pioneers. The question is with the metal bat, can that transfer? In total, the 5, 6, 7 hitters are 2 for 9 on the day. And definitely on a cold stretch to start out.
Rodriguez was told to lose the arm sleeve he was wearing before he enters the mound.
That'll
before
help.
He gets on the mound.
Interesting. But now he's loosened up and ready to go. Here's his first pitch as a Spartan. A beautiful curveball there. Actually closer to a slider. Maybe a slurve there for a big swing and a miss on strike 1. So 0-1 here to start the inning. This time gets him low. 0-2 here.
Yeah, good discipline to go with the off speed to start, not making his first appearance in a while, and he doesn't get too far ahead of himself for strike 1 and strike 2 and gets ahead in the count.
Once again went outside, and this time Mailer is able to hold up. 1-2. And Mandler does take on the tough off-speed pitch. Has a lot of horizontal break and a lot of vertical break too. No wonder Mandler thought that first one was a fastball. 2-2 here for Rodriguez. Mandler gets under this one. This one's deep right field. Combo at the wall will make the catch. He hit it opposite, but it wasn't a taco. It's instead a burrito bowl for out number 1. Trying to find a fun opposite field reference for a flyout instead of a home run.
Although, are you a burrito guy or a
definitely
or a bowl
burrito guy?
Chipotle?
More than bowl. I do like the bowls here at Tampa Salsa Rico, but definitely
who
for
doesn't-
Chipotle,
who
I
doesn't
prefer the
love-
burrito.
Who doesn't love Salsa Rico?
Salsa Rico are off-brand modes that we hold dear. All I do wish is that they had a steak or ground beef as a meal exchange option. That's the only change I'd make. But otherwise, great food, and always good to have a burrito if you're feeling hungry. This one popped up and all the way back. Is it playable for Garavito? Wow, yes it is, and actually the catch took Garavito off his feet. 2 quick outs for Rodriguez.
It's a great readjustment as, he did the right thing as a catcher on a pop-up, turned it back to his field. Makes it a lot easier to catch.
Now I wonder, looking at Garavito, he might have cut himself on the turf as he was falling backward. He's checking out his elbow. I would know a thing or two about bleeding on a softball and baseball field. During intramural softball, I kind of cut up my knee a few times on weird diving plays. But looks like Garavito will be fine here. And an absolutely beautiful slider for strike 1 against number 25, a new pinch hitter for Seton Hill.
Yeah, that'll be Drew Garth, the sophomore outfielder. Lefty, out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Garth has had 13 at-bats. He's scored once, but hasn't gone on base other than 2 walks and a hit by pitch. That is likely his first hit of the season. But unfortunately for him, E.J. Cumbo's got the Jets. I thought that was going to go square into the gap, but Cumbo's got the speed, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. 5, 6, 7, sat down in order. Bottom of the 8th, Spartans have another chance to give Rodriguez extra buffer as he looks to close out the game.
All of us and college sports.
So we're going to get a pinch hitter here. Coach Urso sees the lead and is deciding to give some of the reserves some chances at the plate. Parker Schlichty is going to open up the inning. On deck for the Spartans will be another hitter, number 13. Quickly get you that. I think Luis Rodriguez. And that's good to see him. The FGCU transfer had an injury that put him out at the start of the year. And I think he will be getting a chance later this inning. But for now, Schlichty opens up his at-bat, takes this first pitch for ball 1. So far on the season, he is 0 for 1 at the plate. Count goes 1-1. Outside taken as Wood continues.
Yeah, Tampa did a lot of shuffling at the catcher position this offseason. But Schlichty was one of the few holdovers from last year.
And Schlichty, a chance to beat the throw, but Sable quickly fields it in time. That's the type of grounder that you can theoretically run out, but Sable very quick to it, and getting the throw off prevents any shot of that happening.
Yeah, he played the ball well. Was kind of sawed off Schlichty and hit lightly up towards the middle, and an easy play for a shortstop to make ranging to his left.
So there won't be a pinch hit change for Nunez here. That change might come for Cumbo a little later. Nunez, 4 for 4 day, looking to continue it. Takes this one high for ball 1. So if they do pinch hit Cumbo, that would be bad news, because unfortunately that means Cumbo's cycle chase ends here. But in a lead like this, you can afford to sacrifice a cycle change to give an at-bat for a player who you want to see. And I'd like to see Luis Rodriguez get a chance here. Close one that time. It's going to be called for a ball, 2-1.
Yeah, Rodriguez was out to begin the year with an elbow injury, but he made his debut on Friday at Mississippi College and then started yesterday in the DH role as well, but he's still looking for his first hit of this season.
That one inside almost gets into Nunez.
Yeah, he was kind of dancing out of the way of that one.
Full count for the switch-hitting third baseman. And strike three. He could tell that was strike three. He was immediately heading back to the dugout. And 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. And now making his home debut, Luis Rodriguez, the Florida Gulf Coast transfer. He had a .262 average and 4 home runs last year with the Eagles. He also had 18 hit by pitches. He set an in-game record for Florida Gulf Coast with 4 when they faced off against North Dakota State. So, he's the type of guy who can get on base, usually by taking a couple bruises.
I'm just wondering who he made angry for the Bison that day.
Yeah, that's a good question. Hopefully Wood and Seton Hill don't have any other North Dakota State transfers that might want more blood from Rodriguez. But Rodriguez, as you mentioned, was looking for his first hit as a Spartan. Well, there it is. A nice sharp line drive that beats Sable. Sorry, not Sable. Fedor. He's come in as a defensive replacement at short, number 12.
Yeah, good for Rodriguez to get his first hit there. And as somebody that Coach Urso projected to be fighting for starting spots at the beginning of the season once he got healthy and was able to play, he's helping his case out right there.
Cadenas takes for strike 1. And I agree. I mean, he's a D1 transfer with a pretty good season over in D1. Definitely don't think there's no reason that Rodriguez shouldn't be getting at least platoon games from time to time with the Spartans. He's looked good in his initial outings.
I think the same thing can be said about Cadenas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's made a ton of appearances, but often just as a defensive substitution. He had a huge hit Friday, though, a go-ahead that eventually won the game in extra innings for the Spartans on Friday night against Mississippi College.
Cadenas, I think, has kind of settled into more of a reserve type of role for the Spartans. He's definitely started a few games, but I know Tampa's just letting a very stacked outfield get a lot more action. But it's good to see Cadenas still making a lot of appearances, because he was a no-doubt starter for pretty much the entirety of last season with the Spartans. It gives you great defense and a pretty consistent bat with the extra small ball benefits that Coach Urso loves.
Yeah, well, going back to the preseason conversation I had with Coach Urso, he truly felt that the offense was what let the team down last year in the postseason, and that was his mission, especially in the transfer portal, to go and get a better offense for the season. And I mean, this is the second straight day that Tampa's put up a dozen runs, so I think it's paid off for him.
Tampa's offense has been on fire the entire season. This one grounded to short. Mandler will get the force out at second to end the inning. While I think Cadenas would have beat that throw to first, they wisely get the force at second, and the inning is over. Entering the top of the 9th, last chance for Seton Hill to make some magic happen. Otherwise, Tampa would secure victory. We'll be back right after this. Left-handed hitters beware. Serrata is here to cut you down. He's in the third appearance of the season and actually did get some action recently, Shane.
Yeah, yesterday in that ninth inning of maybe the game of the year, but you could say that about the Quincy game, that Sunday Quincy game that was 11-10. But he kind of came in yesterday as a matchup guy to face lefties, and I think forced one of Mississippi College's switch hitters, Jordan Rollins, to switch sides of the plate. But he had a limited role yesterday, but it contributed to the win as he didn't let the winning run come across, and he tossed it over to Jack Brodsky, who eventually got credited with the save.
Fouled away to start the inning. Marin Petro is back at the plate. He came on as a pinch hitter last time. Grounded out. Keeping him in despite the lefty-lefty platoon issues. Let's see if we can pull an E.J. Cumbo and make platoon issues look like a joke. He's fouled this one away, 0-2. See that back when E.J. Cumbo had hit a walk-off off a lefty earlier in the season. Tampa's had a couple extra inning victories. I don't think they've lost a game in extra innings yet, which is great. Especially in the postseason when you might find extra innings. It's good to have a winning record when the going gets tough and you get extra baseball.
Yeah, even in the first weekend in March, Tampa's certainly battle-tested.
Serrata might have been hoping for a 1-2-3 inning. Well, he'd need a double play or potentially caught stealing here for that to be the case. As Marin Petro lines one through the middle for a base hit. That's going to bring up Shepard, who hit a home run earlier today. Seton Hill realistically would need another if they want to try to get back into the fight. Outside with that sinker, ball one. A left-handed sinking pitch is a really tough one to read because it breaks away from the hitter if you're a righty. Works as the opposite as a slider. It can be especially deadly against lefties if you're looking at a slider and then all of a sudden the pitch goes right to you. Gets a swing and miss that time on that two-seamer. 1-1. This time got him, I think, with a slider. 1-2.
Yeah, and to me, a lefty slider always seems to be more effective than a righty slider, and I have no explanation for that. But baseball's a funny game sometimes.
Overall, I think sliders are one of the best pitches you can have as any pitcher. It's great because it looks like a fastball. It can work as a slow or a fast pitch, even though you generally see the best sliders working with some of the hardest throwers, like Jacob deGrom or Edwin Diaz. This time, gets him upstairs, strike three. That'll be one away. A ground out could end the game. But the question is, I think Whalen might have enough speed to run out most double play balls. He's also 2 for 3 today with 2 doubles. Grounded out to Nunez back in the 7th. This one's grounded up the middle. Earhard, diving grab. Urso can't pick it up at second. That was an incredible play by Earhard, but unfortunately for Urso, the runner was coming just as he was ready to try to catch the ball and make a transfer. And in that awkward state, that unready state, it's dropped, and the runner is safe. That brings up Rauso with 2 aboard, 1 away.
Yeah, Urso just trying to do one thing before the other. Needs to secure the ball before he can try and transfer to make the throw to first. And instead of getting 2 outs, and instead of getting 1 out, there's none on that play.
Never like to have that in the field. I'm sure Urso will be a little disappointed on that play. 2-1 here as this one's taken. Could actually be 1-1. I might have gone a little ahead there. Thought he had thrown the second pitch in the dirt already. Either way, here's the 1-1 now. Popped up. Should be the second out. Cadenas picks it up. Runner stays at second. Had some air, but not enough distance. Oberdorf, the senior, who's 3 for 4 today, will be up as the potential final out for the Griffins. Tampa's a big lead, so if there's a couple late hits here, the pressure isn't super high. See if Sereda can complete his outing and his inning. Swing and a miss, strike one.
Yeah, now it's just survival mode for Seton Hill. Nobody wants to make the last out, and there's going to be there needs to be some serious baton passing if they want to keep this game going.
What's going to be even tougher is that with that baton passing, Vietmeyer and Mandler combined are 1 for 8 on the day. The only hit, of course, being Mandler's line drive earlier. Oberdorf's the best chance to quickly pass the baton to them. High, and it's 2-1. It's good to get ahead in this count. Not a lot of pressure for Sereda, but it's not great to fall behind in a spot like this. Swing and a miss, got him looking for anything, but instead he digs up a rubber shoe. He was trying to find gold, but instead he finds a useless single shoe. They might have to wear on the way to the dugout. Here's the 2-2. Yes, and that is the game. The Spartans take a 12-5 victory against Seton Hill. Oberdorf went fishing, but unfortunately could not find dinner. It's around dinner time at Tampa, and I'm sure for Tampa players, it'll taste a little bit sweeter as they conclude this Monday afternoon game with a victory. It was that 5-run 7th inning that set up the Spartans for success. For Seton Hill, they kept pace for a while. Unfortunately, their bats just ran out of gas. And that'll move them to 5-4 in the season. But hey, they're facing number 2 in the nation, Tampa. They put up a good fight. And for the Spartans, that'll be win number 14 as they continue a pretty positive streak and stretch.
Yeah, Tampa finishes the weekend 3-1. You'll take that any time, especially when 3 of those games are on the road. It was the first game of the weekend that ended up being a comfortable one with a 7-run win. And they start off this short homestand 1-0 and going into a conference series against Embry-Riddle with some of their key guys should be all rested by then. So until then, we'll have to see.
So make sure you tune back in 6 p.m. Embry-Riddle on Friday. That'll be the opener of the series. On Saturday, we get a doubleheader starting at 1 p.m. And on Tuesday, Dosco, it's a homecoming reunion. Tampa will be facing Valdosta State at 5 p.m. at home. We hope you can make every single game live on Tampa Spartans TV. Also over the weekend, NCAA regional action live from the Bob Martinez Center for Women's Basketball. Our top Sunshine State Conference team is looking for some tournament glory and some March Madness. I'm Taylor Storley for the final time with Shane Patania and also Ronaldo Zakiri helping run the show. We'll see you next time.